What's up guys, Bloodshed here. Today we're going to answer the question, what weapon should you main in Monster Hunter World? Now, I'm going to do a brief overview of the weapons. I expect you guys to let me know in the comments below what you decided to main, but I'm going to do a brief overview and kind of tell you my thoughts on each weapon individually. Starting from the top with the Greatsword. Okay, this is like your standard Monster Hunter weapon. It's really slow, but you can pull off some insane damage combos. You have like this little dodge charge thing. It actually causes impact damage. You can knock out monsters like that. I don't think I've seen anything singly hit harder than the Greatsword. I think a tier 3 charge hits for about a little over 200 fully buffed. And if you like buster swords, alright, you like hitting things like a truck, right, there's 204 right there, and that's unbuffed, right? There's a lot of things you can do to buff up your characters and stuff like that. Unbuffed, lots and lots of damage. So the Greatsword, if you want to hit hard, and it's relatively mobile. You can side roll, forward roll, you can upswing to cut off tails, knock other players in the air. So don't forget that portion. If you like the Greatsword, but you want a little more finesse, the Longsword might be for you. You go in, you hit, you build up your spirit combos, like so. We'll go ahead and get to tier 1 here. Once you have a full bar, you can see the red katana bar in the top left corner. You unleash your Fury, you spam R2, or if you're on Xbox, I'm sure it's the trigger. If you land your final attack, you get the white sword. From there, you can land your Spirit Thrust. You propel up into the air, chop down on your enemies, do damage, and as you level up your sword more and more, it does more and more damage, more and more of the final effect triggers. So this one is probably the most accurate long-range weapon for me. I can really pinpoint where I'm attacking, and it's really mobile. Same thing like the Greatsword, you have the forward and side rolls. Greatsword, Longsword, very similar, but the one's a little bit lighter on your feet, and one hits harder. So this is called the Switch Axe. You start out with an axe, and you build up charges, and you switch to sword mode. Bam. So I put this in the same category as the big weapon, sword, blade things, right? Longsword, Greatsword, Switch Axe, kind of in the same realm of what you do. You have a lot of reach with them. You can hit hard, cut off tails, cut off horns. And as you build up your file is just a fancy word for like the element that you're discharging. As you build it up, you can do some cool attacks. So you go back to sword, you go back to axe, build it up further. Once you're ready and your weapon is glowing in the top left corner, you can switch to sword mode and unleash the file damage. And then you spam triangle, blah, 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 and you chainsaw, Gears of War chainsaw the hell out of the creature. If it's past the line, you actually mount the monster and then do it like on their face or kneecap or things like that. But this is cool. This has a very ebb and flow, it's a very ebb and flow type weapon. It's just seamlessly switches between axe and sword, and it's really easy to understand. And it looks like the beta's closing, so we better get this video wrapped up. Up next, we have the hammer. So opposite of the sword, you're not cutting as so much as you're making things unconscious. Okay, so you're hitting things in the face, and it actually, once you do enough damage to the head, it is making monsters unconscious. So in a way, you're kind of supporting your team because you're making them, you know, immobile, where your other teammates can come in and do damage. But this is definitely not a support weapon, but it has some capabilities, like I was saying, because you do KO the monster. You can charge it and do stronger hits. If you hold it a little bit longer, you do an upswing. If you hold it even longer, you do full whirlwind, crazy barbarian, spinny thing, damage of death. I think it's just called spinning bludgeon. So it has a lot of bursts like the Greatsword. It's basically the blunt version of the Greatsword in a way. You can actually charge the hammer when you're sliding down a hill or a mountain, and you kind of propel yourself into the air like a Sonic the Hedgehog or something wielding a hammer. So hammer, it's classic, effective, has a lot of power. Okay, we're now gonna move into the hunting horn here. What the hunting horn does, it's like the support version of the hammer. Now the weapon can hold its own. You can hunt, you know what I mean, on its own. It has a lot of the same characteristics of the hammer. You hit hard, you can KO monsters. It doesn't have the crazy comboage that the hammer does. But what it does do is it's kind of like a bard weapon where you're supporting your teammates. So for instance, if I cast triangle, circle, circle, the notes are on the top, it's actually going to give my team buff, so it's going to give them an attack bonus. You can even R2 again and combo another song, and then now you're going to get a bigger buff to attack, or it's going to last longer. Okay, so it's awesome for supports. Don't stay back and don't just stay back here and cast your songs or whatever. Actually get in the fight and hit with these things. That's how it's intended to play. So just learn the combos, and it's easy to remember because it's in the top right corner of the screen. I'm assuming on launch it's going to be there also. So like for instance, if you wanted to do an attack combo, you would just fight the monster by pushing the corresponding notes, right? And then when you push the trigger or the R2 button, it's going to automatically sing the song, and then it's going to give your team that buff and you that buff, and you're going to hit a lot harder. With the buff, I hit for like 35s with the charge attack with this one right here. Wham! 38. Well, 38 that time. Without it, you hit in the low 30s. So it definitely matters. It definitely adds up. Just think you're giving everybody attack. You're giving everybody defense, wind pressure. There's even other things you can do like movement speed. If you do 2 support, self-improvement, and then you do it 2 white notes, right? There's a lot of depth to it, but the basic controls are super simple. So it's easy to pick up and learn, and that's pretty much how all the weapons are. Easy to pick up, harder to master. Coming up next, we have the ranged weapons, okay? They come in 3 types: the bow, the heavy, and then the light bowgun. You feel pretty free to use these. If a monster's coming, you wham, slide away, shoot them. If you want to get crazy, you can like run up the side of the wall, do some crazy sniper shots, some trick shots, man, trick shots. There's a move called the Dragon Piercer. You can charge it and just blast things away. So every weapon has a little bit of flash, a little bit of flash. There's different coatings that you can do, blast coating, paralysis, poison, sleep. So you have a lot of tools to your disposal. You can even set the game to auto craft. So as you're grabbing things in the world, it'll automatically craft the arrows for you. The light bowgun has unique ammo as well. Its special is that it can plant like these traps, so you always have bombs on you. And so when you knock a monster out, stun a monster, or they go to sleep, you can put these around them, go back and start DPSing, and then blow them all up, basically. And it's really cool to have the traps on you always. They recharge over time. And again, you can like cut tails off. There's a slicing shot here. You can cut horns and tails, and you can see when it triggers, it goes poison. All this stuff does come in handy. Different monsters have different weaknesses. The spread ammo gives you like a wide arc, kind of like the bow has naturally. Flaming ammo, freeze. The dragon ammo is really good against dragons. Pretty awesome, man. Light bowgun, it's more mobile than the heavy. The heavy comes in 2 forms. There's a lot of different mods you can do, and once the game goes live, like we're gonna take a deeper dive, like I was saying. So for instance, the heavy can use heavier ammo, stronger ammo. It's slower though. To compensate from being super slow, you have like this shield at the end of your weapon, so it absorbs light attacks, like certain dives, light monsters attacking you. It can absorb a lot of stuff. It just auto guards basically. When you load in your special weapon, it does crazy. I'll show you. It's like a Gatling gun, man. Okay, yeah, you go full, yeah. Okay, this is probably the highest burst. This is probably the highest burst in the game if you know what I mean, in 10 seconds or whatever. It's actually crazy. The Great Sword might be the highest single. This might be the highest damage over time. Yeah, that's insane. So you can use a lot of the same weapons. Like, okay, so it goes full Call of Duty, man, or full warfare. Look at this. Full warfare mode. Let's go. Cluster bombs. I think I have more cluster bombs here. It's cluster bomb 3. Let's reload this up. Right, you're gonna be like a mid to long range support, and it's pretty crazy, man. You can cut off tails, cut off horns, like I was saying, and just provide aerial support. Especially if you hunt in a big group and you don't want to be all around the monster, you can kind of kick back and do your thing. This one over here is also a heavy, but it has the sniper instead of the crazy Gatling gun. It has a sniper shot, and it's up a lot sooner. The Gatling gun has a longer cooldown. I think it's like 2 minutes or so. This one has a shorter cooldown, but you drop to the floor and you snipe, and it does damage and then explodes. So you can use it more often. It feels kind of cool to have like this sniper shot, And yeah, it does around like, 80-ish damage. Pretty cool, 80 to 100, depending on the weakness of the monster and all that stuff. Once the game goes live again, there's going to be a full list of mods, and we'll go over all that stuff. So this is just kind of like our overview, our introduction to Monster Hunter classes. The next weapon type would be the sword and board. This is like your classic Monster Hunter. I think you start with this in almost every game. This is really mobile. You have like dashes and things like that. You can roll out the way. You can even use potions while you have it. You can block, right? Kind of like the lance, but you're not stuck. Like you're not stuck to the ground. There's a lot of status effects you can do, combos. It's just like your all-around classic weapon. The shield does impact damage, so you could actually KO some monsters. The next sword and shield we have is the charge blade. Now the top right corner looks like an axe because it kind of is an axe too. It switches into axe mode, and you can use like long range attacks. You can unleash devastating elemental files that you charge up, and then whenever you want, you switch it right back to sword and board, and you can block, hop, roll. It's super mobile weapon, and then you go right back into your deeps, right? You can see the elemental stuff, so wham. That's pretty cool. It does strong attacks, man. So you can be a little tanky, mobile, and you can whip out a big two-hander. I can see a lot of people maining this one just because of the versatility of the item. It doesn't really get boring. You kind of get different combos with different modes and stuff like that, so the charge blade. The two main, I guess you would call them hold the line, tanky type weapons. They are the lance and the gun lance. Okay, now these are they're more straightforward. You can move laterally, subtly, but it's more of a hold the line type character. It's the closest thing to a tank, even though you're not really tanking so much. It's very easy to control. It's very safe to play. But again, if you hate feeling stuck to the ground, this is probably not the best thing for you, right? As you get more proficient with all the weapons, you can actually move better, more effectively, but basically you feel really stuck to the ground, but it's awesome because you do feel like that Spartan type thing. You can do lots of damage, poke, knock off horns, knock off tails, all that kind of stuff. You get like a little hop backwards, and like I said, you get that side pivot. But other than that, it's very tanky. You can do certain things, like with this one, you can like run up walls and hit monsters. So there's moments where you feel a little wham, like a little mobile. But again, they're kind of like the hold the line tanks of Monster Hunter. So I guess we just have specialty weapons left. The dual blades is what I'll probably be maining. It attacks super fast, and when you go in demon form, you do run like a Naruto anime type thing. But you go crazy. If you spam triangle or I guess Y on Xbox, you'll be standing in place. And then if you hit them together, circle, triangle, you'll be doing this, just insanely fast combos. It's really addicting when you get a monster's weak spot and you just go in. And that's why I love the dual blades. It's pretty crazy. Once you have demon mode also, you have this insane movement dash, right? It's really fast, and you kind of feel like the rogue class in a way. If you do it off of a hill, you kind of do this helicopter tornado thing down the side of the spine or their back of the monster. It's really awesome, especially if you have like status effects, like if they're like these are water blades, you can get sleep blades, lightning blades, dragon blades. You're just putting elemental effects so fast on the monster. Like it's hitting for really weak, but if you think about how many times you're attacking, like the numbers are just insane. So I'm really addicted. This is what I did all the hard hunts with on the beta, was with the dual blades. It's my favorite so far. The dual blades and the bow are 1 and 2 right now, my two favorites. Another specialty weapon would be this insect glaive. Okay, so you have like this bug on your arm, and you have this giant feathered blade right here, the insect glaive. So you kind of send your bug to extract things, then you call it back, and it gives you charges you can see on top. So you have to hit different parts of the monster, and you call it back, and you get different types of charges from it. And once you have all 3, it unlocks all your combos of the weapon. So you can see we have 3 now. Now we can do stupid things, like you can always vault off of your weapon, but now you have different combos that you would have previously. Like there's gonna be some sick YouTube videos of this kind of stuff. People insect glaving. Look at that. Oh my god. Oh my god. and then the triangle or the Y would do this downward to cut tails, or if you just want to end the combo. Right? Super flashy. It also has a, oh my god. It also has even, oh my god. Never ends, man. It never ends. Also has a little bit more depth with the Kinsect. You can even heal yourself. It can extract green energy and things like that. You can command it to attack, so it like explodes and does damage, and there's different effects and different variables. Again, we'll go into the mastery guides and that kind of stuff. But yeah, man, I love the vault thing too. Like you can kind of, like when you're running around, you can kind of get up to areas faster that you wouldn't have got to otherwise, right? So when you don't have the 3 charges, you can still mid-air dash and then go back in and then do another attack. So it's pretty versatile overall. Again, really flashy, and you feel like a boss when you do land all these crazy aerial combos. And obviously you would mount monsters easier with this weapon because you're on top of them more. So easier to mount, I would imagine, as well. So dual blades and bow for Bloodshed, they're my 2 favorite. That's what I'll start with, but I honestly love so many different weapons. I'll be playing a little bit of all of them, a little bit AoE damage. There you go, a little rain cloud. I hope you enjoyed the video. Expect lots of Monster Hunter content for me. I didn't want to make too many videos on the beta. I want to wait for the game to go live and then really kind of deep dive into that. We're going to be doing Diablo 3 and Monster Hunter coverage. Let me know, again, what class you're maining down below. Follow me at twitch.tv/bloodshed. We streamed all weekend for beta. We're going to stream also when the game goes live. I'll probably do a 24-hour stream on launch night. And we're going to do giveaways of Monster Hunter. So stay tuned for that. Check me out on Twitch. I'll put a giveaway link in the description of the video and in the top comment. What else? This is the Bloodshed. And I'm out of here. Peace.